Local parents upset over parking laws, what you can do to avoid parking tickets while dropping your children off at school.
Governor Brown makes a campaign stop in ARVIN, why he says he's now getting involved in a major issue the city is facing.
And California taking steps to control the spread of Ebola, what some travelers will now have to do in the state.
Broadcasting live in high definition, this is KBAK Eyewitness News at 6.
A parent contacts us upset after she received not one, but 2 parking tickets while she was dropping her child off to school.
Eyewitness News reporter Mimi Alcala joins us with why the woman feels the tickets were unnecessary. Mimi?
Courtney, Kurt, the parents say she wasn't actually parked when she was given the citations. She also says many other parents had the same thing happen to them. We have her side of the story and also spoke to Sergeant Grubbs with the Bakersfield Police Department to see why she was given those parking citations.
Parents dropping off their children to school. This mother, who didn't want to be identified, says she was doing just that.
There's only maybe enough space for about 8 cars.
When she got a parking ticket in front of Buena Vista Elementary.
His car is nowhere to be seen. I don't know if he hides it or where he parks it.
She says an officer came up to her on foot and gave her the citation for being double parked, even though she says she just quickly stopped while her son got out of the car. A few weeks later, she gets another one, this time for being stopped too far from the curb.
I wasn't really parked because I just let him get out of the car and he went in, and that's what most parents do.
Even if you're just stopping quickly, you may still be breaking the law.
The law is if you're stopped, standing, or parked. Standing, you can be in the car with the vehicle in gear. That is stopped or standing, and absolutely, and we will enforce that.
Sergeant Grubbs with the BPD says this is exactly what needs to be done to make sure school zones are safer for children.
We are aggressively going to enforce that type of activity, and we're not going to apologize for it.
He explains why briefly stopping can still be dangerous.
They're away from the curb. What happens is kids are running out in between those cars. Parents behind them cannot see where those kids are coming out, and that's how we have children run over in school zones.
Early Wednesday, officers were out patrolling the area and making sure drivers weren't breaking any laws.
There's a lot of things that police officers do that is not necessarily that the public doesn't like. That's part of our job, and that's part of enforcing the law.
What I would like to know is if that's really what he's supposed to be doing.
Grubbs says yes.
He's a school resource officer. He's in the mornings and in the afternoons. Part of his job is to enforce traffic in school zones, and that's what he was doing that day.
And Sergeant Grubb wants to remind everyone of the importance of following traffic laws, especially in school zones. The less laws broken, the safer the children are. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Mimi. If you have a story like this you want us to investigate, call our tip line at 869-2929.
Well, it's a beautiful day, and temperatures today up into the upper 70s to the low 80s across the region. Right now it's 75 outside with 36% humidity, and winds out of the west at 6 miles per hour. We're looking at the clear skies out there as the sun's going down. And you can see off to the north, here we go. It's a winter storm watch issued this afternoon by our good friends at the National Weather Service, generally to the north of us. In fact, even north of the Tulare County mountains. Fresno County all the way up to about the Lake Tahoe area. This will be for late on Friday, going into Saturday with the potential for maybe a ½ foot of snow. So hikers and campers need to know that if you're going to be up there. Temperatures in the 70s now here in the valley, and we got 60s in the mountains, still 84 degrees at Lake Isabella. High temperatures today, 79 here in Bakersfield, also in Porterville and Hanford, a little warmer up in Fresno. And 70s in the Kern County mountains, very warm over at Santa Maria, 90 degrees there this afternoon. Right now it's 75 here in Bakersfield. Temperatures are up pretty much across the board, especially in Tehachapi there, up 11 degrees from this time yesterday. And the skies will remain clear tonight. We do have big changes coming, but not tonight, and really not even tomorrow morning. Temperatures will be dropping to the 70s this evening to about 55 degrees first thing in the morning, and in the Kern County mountains 60s initially, but we're going to drop it down to about 38 degrees first thing on Thursday morning, and then a warm day tomorrow, but big changes for Friday and Saturday. The full forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Thank you, Miles. Governor Jerry Brown brings his pitch for 2 propositions to Kern County today. Eyewitness News reporter Carol Ferguson was at the rally in ARVIN. Carol?
Brown is trying to get voters to support Proposition 1, the water bond, and Prop 2, the rainy day fund, and he's supporting Democrat candidates running for state office. The governor says it is the clearest campaign message he can remember: save water, save money, and save California. Prop 2 would put state money aside in good years so it's ready in tough times, and Prop 1 would provide $7.5 billion in water project bonds for things like water storage, protecting the environment, and clean water projects. Luis Chavez is running for state senate. He told the ARVIN crowd that's good for them. Assembly candidate Rudy Salas says the whole water bond is vital. And Brown says it's important for Kern County, from our farmers and field workers to communities needing clean water supplies. That's why he came to ARVIN.
I'm glad to be here. I've heard a lot about this town. I've read about it. Wow, all the different issues that come out of the Central Valley, come out of Kern County.
There's a pot of money within Proposition 1, the California Water Bond, that's specifically allocated for disadvantaged communities that have clean water needs. ARVIN should be at the top of that list.
Water is the lifeline for the Central Valley. It is a lifeline for jobs. It is a lifeline for families here, and we need to do something to fix our water infrastructure needs.
Now, there were several dozen people at the rally, a lot of them supporting local candidates, and many said they think water issues are very important and support Prop 1. Back to you.
Thanks, Carol. The governor was also asked about the state's role in which a gas leak in a pipeline forced 8 ARVIN families out of their homes more than 7 months ago. Eyewitness News reporter Jose Gaspar is here with what the governor had to say about the situation. Jose?
Courtney, this is a situation in which neither county nor state agencies have yet given ARVIN residents the green light to go back into their homes. It was back in March when families on Nelson Court were evacuated because of a natural gas leak in an underground pipeline. Toxic gases were discovered to have permeated the soil underneath the homes. Though the company that owns the pipeline claims tests show that it is safe for them to return home, residents are not so sure. The governor was asked what the state can do to look into the situation.
This was just brought to my attention. I will talk to the head of the Division of Oil and Gas today. In the next 2 hours, I will call him, and I'll see what we can do to get it going.
And the state released this statement a little while ago. After speaking with the governor, the Department of Conservation Division of Oil, Gas, and Geothermal Resources is continuing to work with Kern County. We anticipate the evacuation order will be lifted soon, with additional air quality analysis to be conducted in the near future. Upon receiving the results of the additional testing, Dogger and the county will meet with the community to discuss the results. In the meantime, however, ARVIN families will have to keep waiting. Kurt?
Thanks, Jose. State officials are taking steps to protect Californians from Ebola. The state is now requiring a 21-day quarantine for people traveling from countries affected by Ebola who have had contact with infected patients. The state's health officer, Dr. Ron Chapman, says the quarantines will be determined by individual county health officials on a case-by-case basis. He says a number of Californians have volunteered to help combat the disease in West Africa.
We are just days away from Halloween, but if the right precautions aren't taken, scary things can happen. Reporter Tom Murphy is live now with the Kern County Fire Department on how you and your loved ones can stay safe. Tom, looking spooky tonight.
Hey, Court, you know, we're talking about Halloween, so obviously we had to get dressed up a little bit. I got my Thor mask and my mustache, so you can actually call me Thor for now, for the next couple minutes. But we're talking Halloween safety and specifically fire safety right now, because there were over 900 homes that lit on fire last year because of Halloween decorations. So we're here at the Kern County fire demonstration spot right now, and specifically the training facility. What we did was at 5 o'clock, we got one of the most popular costumes, an Ariel Disney princess costume, and as you can see, you know, Ariel, she wanted to be a part of this world, but instead she really should have stayed under the sea because she lit up pretty quick. So that was for the girls, and now we're going to see what's going to happen to a little boy's costume. We've got the Thor costume right here. My man Anthony's about to light this. We don't know what's going to happen. We decided we were just going to pick two of the more popular costumes and just see how flame resistant they are. There you see that costume going up right there a little bit, and I wanted to ask Anthony a question, because when we burned Ariel earlier at 5 o'clock, we saw a little bit of an issue with some of the plastic. Anthony, can you talk about what you noticed with that costume?
Certainly with this one now, it's the same thing. The plastic and the polyurethane is just melting And what this would concern me too, because if it does melt onto your skin, it's going to stick to your skin, and that's a danger.
Yeah, and I mean, we burned this costume over an hour ago, and you can still see all the char. I'm joined now by Tyler Townsend, who is also with the Kern County Fire. And Tyler, let's talk about these costumes, and specifically when parents are looking for costumes, they might see something that's fire resistant, but that might not mean it's completely safe.
Right. When they say fire resistive, they don't mean fireproof. And as you can see here, the costume is burning, so there still is an inherent danger in the costume.
And we mentioned over 900 homes that went up in fire last year because of Halloween decorations. So what are some tips that people can do when it comes to their decorations?
Right. As we're thinking about protecting our children and buying a safe costume, we also need to think about protecting our home. In this sense, if you have a jack-o'-lantern, we want to use flameless candles. There's a lot of options there. We have battery-operated candles. There's flashlights, or also you could use a glow stick.
So there you have it. Obviously, it's so important that the kids have fun, but it's even more important that the kids can stay safe. Just look at the way that Thor costume is burning. Thor, he's a superhero, but obviously one of his superpowers is not flame resistant. So that's going to do it for us from the Kern County Fire Grounds, and we're going to send it back to the studio, guys. I can finally you know, take off my mustache.
Right, yeah. Thanks, Thor. I mean, Tom.
There you go.
All right. When we come back, defying authority, a nurse says she will not follow the orders of health officials. We'll tell you why coming up.
And a program aimed at stimulating the economy ends, what this means for the future of the economy.
It's 75 degrees right now, but there is a winter storm watch up, not for Kern County, but just to the north of us for Friday going into Saturday. Big changes coming up. We'll talk about it all.